Good morning. All right, my name is Ansel Knights. I'm the chairperson for the engineering department here at Miami-Dade College. I want to thank you all for coming out to our STEM webinar series that we are putting on in conjunction with some other institutions. First off, I want to thank you all for showing up here. This shows that, you all are really showing a commitment to your education and your career, and it's really good to see you all. Today's presentation will be focused on soft skills, and hopefully you all will get to take a lot out of it from today. This will really serve you all in good stead. We are working closely with Los Alamos National Labs, who are co-presenting the webinar today. Afterwards, if you all stay on a little bit after the actual seminar, you all will get some more information from them regarding potential internship opportunities. I'm sure all of you all want internships, yes? Say yes. All right. So please stay on a little bit afterwards where they'll be speaking to you all about potential internships that will really be beneficial to you in your educational career. All right. At this time, I'd like to invite up Ms. Michelle Lee Blanchett, who will speak to you on behalf of Los Alamos National Labs.
So, good morning, Miami-Dade College. How are you guys doing? You doing good? I guess I need to say good afternoon. I'm actually 2 hours behind, still on New Mexico time. So it's good afternoon. And then I also would like to welcome the webinees who are out there watching on the internet. So my name is Michelle Lee, and I'm a health physicist at Los Alamos National Laboratory. Anybody know about Los Alamos National Labs? Okay, that's why stay after the webinar and we'll talk about it, okay? I'm also the program manager for ROSES, which is Research on the Science of Engineering and Technology, which is part of the Minority Serving Institution Partnership Program, which consists of 6 consortiums, comprising of 39 minority serving institutions. Miami-Dade College just joined last year, and 8 national laboratories. I also came to, well, the consortium is about trying to pipeline students from minority serving institution into national laboratories. And years ago, I actually entered a national lab under the same type of program. As a physics major, I was very excited interning at this great world-renowned research institution. And my first project was to actually do some radiation damaging experiments on this like 3 MeV tandem accelerator. Anybody know what an accelerator is? Okay, all right. And what was quite interesting was, working with the latest technology. And so when I was working on this project, my project, that's like, my mentor, I was working for a material scientist and a nuclear physicist, and only had a few physics courses under my belt. And they basically had to tell me what to do to be working on this accelerator, the control panel, wrote all the instructions down, and told me what to do, because I didn't know what I was doing, why I was doing it, and what my internship would be contributing to. So doing all that, and it took me a couple of days to collect the data, and I graphed it, I actually went to my mentor and I gave him the graph. And he looked at it all excited. And he was like, this is perfect. This is perfect. And, you know, I was like proud of myself because I produced a product that he was excited about. And then a few minutes later, his demeanor changed. And he said, you had to fudge this data because this is just too perfect. And I just like looked at him. And at this time, I'm being accused of falsifying data. And now my integrity is being questioned. So, you know, I thought about it. And then I said, you know, let's think about this real quick. I'm a junior in college. I just started really my physics curriculum, and I don't know what I'm doing. You had to tell me to do everything. I don't know what you're looking for. So how can I falsify data? And he said, you know what, you got a point. But at that time, I felt some kind of way about it. And he had no empathy about how he approached me. Because you guys ever heard the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it? And that experience impacted me in two different ways. I'm very sensitive now when it comes to data, you know, being in the science, technology, engineering, mathematics, because that is an ethics thing. So I'm very sensitive when it comes to data. And the next thing what it taught me was to, when I talk to people about sensitive topics, to actually run something through my mind first and see how, if I said it like this, how would I react and respond? So it taught me to be considerate of other people's feelings. So those are the two lessons that I learned from that experience. And what I have to say is that my internships actually guided me in the career that I have now. I should have said, excuse me. Slide change. So sorry about that. I got caught up in my, my story. But this is the Minority Serving Institution Partnership Program and the consortiums that are in. And you guys are actually in the Consortium of Integrated Energy Systems in Engineering and Science Education, okay? Next slide. So I was saying that my internships actually guided my career in health physics. Does anybody know what health physics is? No? Anybody know what physics? Do you know what physics? Huh? What's physics? So just real, physics is the study of energy, okay? Health physics is actually how that energy impacts the people in the environment. And so health physics is actually protecting people in the environment from the radiation hazards. Okay. Next slide. So there are different types of energy. Can some of you guys name them? You're reading the slide, right? Okay. So we have a potential, kinetic, chemical, electrical, light, heat, magnetic, and health physics actually focuses on the nuclear, okay? From radionuclide and how radiation impacts man. And then you have sound. But there's also another energy that is not listed up there, and I think it should be, and that's human energy, which I call emotions, which can actually modify somebody's behavior or attitude. And that is today's topic, which is balancing your emotional intelligence. Which is one of a major soft skills. Are you guys familiar with soft skills? Huh? You are? Okay. And yes, one of the major soft skills. And this is, you know, being in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics field, our soft skills tend to be minimized. And this program was started to raise the awareness of the importance of soft skills and to provide a platform to practice your soft skills, to continuously practice them, because the only way you're going to get good at them is to actually practice them. The next slide. So the mission of the Soft Skills program is to create national leaders, a leadership network grounded in minority-serving institutions. And the program consists of monthly webinars, an annual lessons learned conference, and an 18-month leadership institute to practice soft skills. And I hope you guys will actually partake in this program, because this is something that I always wished I had when I was navigating my career. I actually been in the workforce 25 years. Next slide. So this is our webinar schedule. You guys are attending the second one, which is balancing your emotional intelligence. And next month, it'll be at Norfolk State University. And hopefully you guys will tune in on your cell phones, iPads, computers, or maybe the college will host another group session like this with a moderator. And before I introduce the speaker, I want to give special thanks to a couple of people. And that is Corey Jackson of the National Nuclear Security Administration for actually supporting this initiative. Los Alamos National Laboratory for supporting minority-serving institutions. Darius Swinton and Courtney Mitchell of Swinton and Associates. Miami-Dade College for actually hosting this event, and you guys for attending. And Barry Williams Gateway for Kids. And now about today's speaker. Darius Swinton is the CEO of Swinton and Associates, also known as the SOAR Group. Swinton and Associates specializes in leadership and organizational performance, strategic planning, facilitation, motivational speaking, and consultant services. The mission of Swinton and Associates is to help create and maintain lifestyles and a workforce that is safe, healthy, productive, and successful. Mr. Swinton is highly regarded throughout the international community as an extraordinary trainer, facilitator, and speaker. He possesses the unique ability to combine personal experiences and insight with current information to help individuals, learning institutions, and organizations transform principles into practice. His style is thought-provoking and engaging. I would like to add highly energizing, while disseminating knowledge and understanding where it is needed in today's ever-changing society. Mr. Swinton possesses 3 degrees, 1 bachelor's, and 2 master's degrees. He has received numerous awards and honors and is the author of the book, Soar Beyond Your Limitations, which provides strategies, tips, and exercises to help readers improve their lifestyle and transform their dreams into reality. Without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Darius Swinton.
Can you adjust the slides? Can you go back and adjust the slides? Do the slides. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good. You know what? I am just honored to be here today. I have about 3,000 or less seconds of your time. 3,000 seconds of your time or less. So how many minutes is that? Okay, figure it out later. Okay, just figure it out later. Okay. So I want to thank Dr. Michelle Lee for inviting me, and everybody who's affiliated with this campus. Thank you for the warm invitation and all the great fellowship and the technology and everybody who's here today. So we have a great topic today, right? Balancing your what? Emotional intelligence. How many of you have emotions? If you have an emotion, raise your hand. If you've ever had just at least one emotion, raise your hand. Good. So we all have that experience, right? So we're going to talk about this today, and we're going to learn some things today. One of my primary responsibilities is to give you information, knowledge that will be of benefit to you for the remainder of your life. How many of you want to be successful in the workforce? I'm going to help you. Because no matter what technical skill you have, you still have to interact with what? People, right? You have to interact with people. You have to get along with people. So during the first seminar, go to the next one, please. During the first seminar, I offered to everyone a process and a structure that will help you to be a successful entrepreneur, a successful employee or productive employee. And this is how this process is going to work with every webinar. And I'll be doing one, I think, next month on communication skills, right? On communication skills. That when you participate in a webinar, I'm going to engage you in listening. I want you to listen, not about your feelings, it's about the opportunity to listen. That means you have to be attentive to what is going on in the present. Don't hallucinate about what you want to do tonight or tomorrow, this weekend. Stay in the present. Learning has to do with staying in the present and one's ability to what? Listen. Okay, beyond listening, then we're going to ask questions. At some point in time, you can raise your hand and ask me a question. I think people will be typing in and calling in with questions. I want to be able to respond to your question. But it's important that you do what first? Listen and then ask a what? Question. Like in the classroom. You want to be difference between an A student and sometimes a D student is one's ability to listen and ask the appropriate question. Following asking the questions, then you what? You learn. And after whatever you learn, then they want you to do what? Apply, right? We learn, we apply. If you apply the right things, then you evaluate that which you have applied based on your learning experience, and then you keep what? Learning and what? Applying it. Learning and what? Applying. The difference between a freshman and sophomore is one's ability to what? Listen, to question, to learn, and then what? Apply. You agree? Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Okay, because you got to have some interaction here. I want to make sure you're with me. Next slide, please. So, okay, ready? Thank you. Okay, so for every learning experience, and I want to encourage you because this is monumental in your personal and professional growth and development. When it comes to your academic performance, it also ties in what I'm challenged to help you to do. Is first, I'm challenged with trying to increase your knowledge. You see the working definition for knowledge. Whenever you're in the classroom, whenever you're in the workforce, you always want to increase your what? Knowledge. Also, I'm going to try to increase your what? Understanding, knowing how things and people what? Rightly relate to each other. Soft skills has to do with your ability to what? Interact with other people who are similar and people who are very much different than you. You put those two together, young people, you get this great word called what? Wisdom. Wisdom is the application of what? Knowledge and understanding. Every time you go to classroom, you should be asking your teacher, give me more what? Knowledge, and give me more what? Understanding. And if I gain this knowledge, if I gain this understanding, then I have wisdom. The difference between a person making a little bit of money and making a lot of money, it may have to do with what? Their wisdom. That which they know, that which they understand, and that which they apply. Dr. Lee talked about internships in Los Alamos, right? She never told you how much you get from your internships. You don't get a little bit, you get a lot. How many of y'all like to earn some long money? Nobody? Okay, just gotta be honest. Like, yeah, I want to earn some long money. You get those grades, you get the knowledge, you get the understanding, and then you apply it with the wisdom. Therefore, it places you in the position to earn a very decent salary. Next slide, please. And so during the first webinar, we had the students to create a student profile. Next slide. So the student profile consists of, next slide, please. The student profile consists of 3 things. This is important. First, you got to look at your intrapersonal. How do you deal with yourself? How do you deal with yourself? And this has to do with one, space. All they were talking about is the management of your what? Space. Every human being will always occupy a certain amount of space. There's nothing you can do physically where you would never occupy space, right? You jump up, you occupy what? Space. I move over here, I occupy what? Space. So it's critically important when you talk about soft skills, you first have to understand oneself. How do I manage myself? Then you go to the interpersonal. How do I manage relationships with what? Another person. How do I manage myself? How do I manage relationship with another person? And then how do I manage relationship with other people in a what? Group. A group. But it's critically important that I first be able to manage who first? Yourself. And that's where soft skills come in. Next slide, please. To help you to understand yourself. So in the first seminar, I shared with the group about cultural universals. Now, no matter where you were born in the world, there's some things we all have in common. One thing is that we all was born into a family, right? That's what you were told, right? Okay. We all have experienced relationships, correct? We all have experienced some level of education, correct? Communication skills, problem solving skills, decision making skills. We all have that in common no matter where we're born in the world. But how we utilize those things that we have experienced is critically important in making sure you're a successful student or a successful employee. Next slide, please. And then now we are dealing with today this thing called what? Balancing your emotional intelligence. How do I manage my own what? Emotions. So even though I'm going to focus on, for the next 2,500 seconds, one's emotions, I'm appealing to your way of thinking. That's all I'm appealing to today. Not your emotions. I want to appeal to your way of thinking. How do I intellectually manage myself? How? Emotionally. What are the triggers that cause me to do certain things to myself that impacts one's relationships? So this whole theory about emotional intelligence goes back to the 1930s. And then I think the guy in 1995, Goldman, he wrote a book on emotional intelligence. And in this book, it highlights 2 major areas. You have personal competence, and then you have what we call social competence. But underneath those 2 headings, you have some categories, which I'm going to share with you. Okay? And I think some of you got the handout. Anyone get the handout? For those who are at the other sites, you may have downloaded the handout. Looks similar to this. Everybody get one? I hope you did. I hope you did. And there should be some available in the back. I think we had a number of those. And for all our listeners and viewers, I hope you were able to download this. This is critically important to what we're going to do today. Because every time I do a webinar, I want you to leave with a tool or a strategy or some techniques that will help to improve your character, to help you improve your personality, to help you improve your behavior, so you show that every time you're getting what? Better and better and better. That's what it's all about. Being successful is about getting better and better and better. So the overall goal is to increase your knowledge and understanding related to managing your what? Emotional intelligence. I'm telling you guys, you learn this stuff, you'll be amazed at your growth and development. You're going to be amazed at your growth and development. Next slide, please. So there's some objectives we're going to try to cover today. I'm going to share with you very quickly the 5 components of emotional intelligence. and you have them outlined there, but I'm going to share some information with you that you might want to write down. There's some ways in which you can improve your what? Emotional intelligence. And then also I want you to document some actions for improving one's emotional intelligence. So on this sheet, you're going to write down, these are some things I will make an effort to do to improve my what? Emotional intelligence. It's almost like having a homework assignment, but it's all about you. You're going to get an A regardless. You can't fail. You cannot fail. You don't do it, you still won't fail. You may not grow as much as you want to and become as active and productive as you want to, but you cannot fail. So keep in mind, any thought, one would say when playing with the mind or the brain, any thought or your cognition, any thought can transform you or can shatter you. Any thought that you possess can build you up, and that same thought can what? Tear you down. Who's responsible for your thoughts? Who? I hope so. But you can always give permission to somebody else to control what? What you think. You can, correct? So if you give someone else to control what you think, don't blame them. Because you what? You gave it to them. Next slide says, any emotion can transform you. Any emotion. Any emotion. But sad right now, I change. I'm happy, I change. I'm angry, I'm frustrated, disappointed. Any emotion. Who's in charge of your emotions? Come on. Y'all don't want to talk? Don't want to think about it? But there are people who we give permission to control our what? Emotions. If you wouldn't have said what you said, I wouldn't feel sad right now. But if you do this, you can make me what? Happy right now. What you want me to do to make you happy? You know what you need to do to make me happy. You got to make, sometimes you got to make yourself happy. One would say that in my space again, I'm responsible for my thoughts, but I'm also responsible for my what? Emotions. Emotions. Next slide, please. So here we go. So how do we define this thing, intelligence and emotional intelligence? Just a working definition. It says that the ability to what? Learn about who? Myself. I first have to learn about myself, then I have to learn from things, and then I have to understand myself, then I have to interact with what? One's own environment. It's all about knowing who I am, how I interact with myself, and how I interact with what? Other people based on my emotions. And then you add this whole emotional intelligence says the ability to perceive or control or what else? To evaluate one's what? Emotions. Getting to know myself better. Getting to learn my triggers about my what? Emotions. Every person has emotions. And for some of you, you have some emotions towards one teacher versus another, right? You can have one instructor you get all excited about. Others are like, oh, I wish they would have called in sick today. It's just emotions. And it's amazing how we give others permission to control our what? Emotions. So there are three theories. The first one, there are many, many different theories like this. One is physiological, so responsible within the body. Yeah, whatever's going in my body will cause me to feel a certain way. Like, I'm hungry, I feel a certain way. I'm tired, I feel a certain way. I'm frustrated, I feel a certain way. These things are going on, you know, in my body that causes me to have these emotions. The next one says neurological. What's going on in my brain? What I'm thinking. The activity of my brain will cause me to have a what? Certain emotion. And one would say one's thought can transform one's emotion. Just a thought. The altering of a thought. I don't want to feel sad right now, so I change my what? Thought. I don't want to be happy right now. I change my what? Thought. I've given power of the thought to control my emotions based on the activities of my what? Brain. Keep in mind, the brain or the mind is never in absence of a what? Thought. The mind will always have a what? Thought. Don't try it. Don't even try it right now. I'm gonna see if I can not have a thought. You might need medication, so don't do that. Don't try it. And the last thing we talked about was cognitive ability. That the thoughts and the mental capacity that one possesses will cause one to have certain what? Emotions. Next slide, please. One's emotions. So now let's take a look at what falls under the competence of personal competence. I think if you look at your sheet here, you see the first one is what? Self what? Awareness. One says self-awareness. What is this whole self-awareness about? Well, this has to do with being able to know your own what? Moods. You have to know your own moods. You have to know your own what? Emotions. Not someone else. It's about knowing your own what? Your moods. Your emotions. You also need to know the impact it has what? On other people. How many of you know when you're moody? Okay. How many of y'all like being moody? Just be honest about it. How many of y'all are intentionally moody sometimes? There's a person who planned and plotted to be moody. And sometimes people do that. Sometimes we get emotional for no reason. But they say you have to get to know what? Your own emotions, your triggers. What makes me happy? What makes me sad? Not only that, know the impact it has on other people. Or do you care? The impact your emotions have on other people. Of course you should be concerned because you're establishing in the workforce, we call it what? A working relationship. So, okay, the academic setting. You go in the classroom and you just you're in a bad mood when you walk in the classroom. You sit down with a bad attitude and your emotions all jacked up. And now you look around and see who you can bother. Who can I make feel the way I feel today? And they say, well, how you doing, Darius? I don't feel right today. I'm mad and angry. So, okay, I'll talk to you later. No, I want you to really know how I feel today. I said, no, get your own feelings in what? Check. Because we're responsible for ourselves. So you got to know your own feelings and emotions, know the impact it has on others. So what you have to do is do an assessment of yourself. Sometimes you might need to do it daily or weekly. I try to start out every day in a good mood. I try. How many of y'all try? And sometimes it can be easier than others. Some days it can be tougher than others. But I try. When I fly, be honest, I would prefer that whoever sits beside me to leave me alone. But every now and then I get a person who's very talkative, like, how you doing? I got to say, how you doing too? How you feeling? I'm feeling great. How you feeling today? And I'm saying in my mind, can you just leave me alone? But I have to engage in this emotional relationship because I don't want to damage any relationship. So that means I got to check myself out. Does this make sense? So then it says you got to have a certain level of self-confidence about yourself, about who you are as an individual. You must portray a certain confidence about one's emotions and how you keep your emotions in check, how you share your emotions with other people, to the extent that you share your emotions with other people. And believe me, in the workforce, when you have a high level of self-awareness, you will always try to engage in what we call healthy emotional relationships. I will not say anything or do anything to bring hurt or harm to another person based on exhibiting about what? Emotions. Yes. So you might want to write down one thing you want to do to help and control your self-awareness and your emotions. Somebody give me a suggestion. One thing a person could do to help improve their self-awareness related to their emotions. One thing. What can a person do? Pause and take inventory, right? What is my state of emotions right now? Most of y'all probably drive, I would think, you drive here to the campus. When you get to the campus, spend a minute or two in the car. Pull yourself together emotionally. Don't get out that car angry. See who you can fuss at and roll your eyes and cut your eyes and yell at. Get yourself together. Right? Does this make sense? I'm just asking, does it make sense? Because guess what? I'll give you a little secret here. Before you can be angry at somebody, guess where the anger is coming from? You got to fabricate this anger and frustration. Like, I'm angry. Now I got to go tell somebody I'm angry. And now I got to exhibit that anger. But it has to start somewhere, and oftentimes the anger doesn't start with another person. It starts from who? You, because you got to send it to somebody. The frustration must be sent to somebody. So do a self-awareness about yourself. Next slide, please. I'm getting excited for this. Next is self-regulation. Now this one has to do with self-control and self-discipline. It talks about not being so disruptive in the classroom or in the community or at work. Maintain a high level of self-control. How many of you need to work on that just a tad, your level of self-control? just a tad. Have any of you ever like yelled at somebody, like it just came out all of a sudden? Anybody? I mean, you might have been by accident. Raise your hand. Yeah. That's like, what's wrong with you? You yelling at me. You act like you need medication or something. Disruptive impulses. You're in the classroom and everything is going great. Teachers instructed everybody, and all of a sudden you blurt out something out of nowhere. And the instructor said, are you okay? Then what if you're okay? Because you've lost a certain amount of self-control. It says at all times, young people, all times in the classroom, in the community, especially at work, you want to have a high level of self-control, self-discipline. And that requires you be in touch with your emotions and be in touch with your what? Thoughts. And one might say, wait a minute, Darius, I don't think I can do all this all the time. Every now and then I got to let it out. I got to let somebody know how I feel. Well, do it constructively instead of what? Destructively. There's a difference between the two, okay? And then talk about trustworthiness and conscientiousness. How much aware are you about yourself? Can I trust you? I really wonder, can you trust a person who's disruptive and angry all the time and out of control? Would you trust them? Would you? It'd be kind of difficult, isn't it? Every time you see them, they're out of control. They're all high-wired, don't know if they're coming or going. And they say, oh, you can trust me. You can trust me. I won't tell anybody. I don't get angry. I don't say, yes, you do. I've seen you out of control. I can't trust you. So when you have a certain level of self-discipline, self-control, people sometimes want to trust you because you have a certain character about yourself. You're very conscientious about the words that come out of your mouth. You're very conscientious about the emotions that you share. They will say that, yes, this person is cool, calm, but what's that other word? Y'all, you heard that before, right? Old school, right? Old school. Say, that's that person. It's cool, calm, and collected. Why? They have a certain level of self-regulation. And also, they're flexible. That's innovation and adaptability has to do with one being flexible. You don't always have to have it your way. You don't always have to be right. You don't always have to be in control of everybody. I'm flexible. I'm trustworthy. I have a high level of self-discipline. I'm that way. That's who I am. If I'm not there, that's who I want to be, especially as a what? Professional. And in the workforce, your supervisors, your managers, your directors, they're looking at you. They're looking at how you manage your space. Can I trust you? Do you have the character? Do you have the integrity? Do you have the self-discipline, the self-awareness that you will be a valued employee or a valuable student? Next slide, please. Also, to the same head of personal competence, the last one is motivation. Now, motivation is kind of tricky when you think about it. It's kind of tricky. Because in the workforce, I think there are a lot of people who have a high level of motivation because they get what? Paid, right? Money will give you some motivation. But they're saying here with this, yeah, getting paid is a benefit, but it's not the number one motivation. It's not the number one. Then I have a vision, I have a dream, I have goals, I have aspirations that I want to achieve for myself in life. It's not always about, yes, the money, the benefits, all those things are good, but wait a minute. I have a hunger and thirst to get better and better and better and better, regardless of my position, regardless of my title, regardless of my income. I want to get better. It's just like going to college. You have this drive, say, I'm going to graduate. I don't care if it takes me, 5 years, 10 years. I'm still going to what? Graduate. I'm not going to give up. And that's part of this thing when you talk about the motivation. And that you're a very optimistic person. I consider myself a very optimistic person. Failure is not an option in my life. It's just not an option. Why should I give up? Winston Churchill made the statement. He says, never, never, never give up. Think of 3 reasons why you should give up on yourself. They're probably not even legitimate. Think of 2 reasons why you should give up on yourself. Not legitimate. They say, emotionally, I'm not going to give up myself. I'm not going to walk around depressed and feel defeated. I will be self-motivated emotionally. I don't need a lot of people to build me up. I build myself up how? Emotionally. Because I want to be successful. In order to be successful and productive, I have to be emotionally stable enough to be optimistic about myself emotionally. I'm not saying intellectually, I'm saying what? Emotionally. So feeling bad is only temporary. That's all. It's only temporary. Because I don't want feeling bad to stagger me and to stop me, to stagnate me from being what? Successful emotionally. Then commitment. Well, commitment is pretty easy. How many of you are committed to graduating? I didn't say how long it's going to take you committed. Right? So no matter what others say, or no matter what obstacles, it may slow you down, but it's not going to what? Stop you. I like when I came on campus here, you have what we call speed bumps, right? Right? Speed bumps. What are speed bumps supposed to do? It's not to stop you. Just to slow you down a little bit, right? But if you want to tear up something in your car, just keep driving what? Fast. And you won't get stopped by the po-po, keep driving what? Fast. The speed bump says, I'm going to slow you down to get your awareness, your consciousness, but you keep on going. And that's that thing about, the whole thing about commitment. That emotionally you must be committed sometimes all by yourself. So we have 3 areas of the personal competence, 3 areas. So you might say, what do I need to do, Darius? You might ask yourself, what do I need to do to be a little bit more what? Emotionally committed. Well, one thing you do is what? Be more positive about your what? Emotions. Be more concerned and caring about your what? Emotions. Be more invested in your emotions, okay? So you have those 3 categories. Let's go to the next one. So under the next category, did you go to the next one? Thank you. Under social competence, go to the next one, please. You have 2 categories. The first one is empathy. Now, what this is saying under empathy, first you got to know your own emotions, but now you're going to try to understand the emotions of who? Other people. First one, big title was what? Personal competence, all about you. So now we talk about engaging in relationships. Remember earlier I talked about your space. First you got to take care of yourself, your emotional space, and now I'm stepping out that and I'm connected to another person, which calls for empathy. Not sympathy, but empathy. The ability to understand the emotional makeup of another person. That's all it is. How do you do it? You have great listening skills. You are patient in listening and observing the other person expressing their what? Emotions. 2 categories in expressions. One is expressions from I think, other one from I what? I feel. So whenever individual who you're interacting with talk about how they feel, they're talking about their what? Emotions. Just to understand the emotional makeup of another person. Then also using your knowledge and using your understandings to help develop other people. And sometimes that happens so subtly when you have a friend or a relative that someone says, hey John, you know what, you really understand me. I can talk to you. You listen to me. You understand my what? My feelings. You seem to care about what I'm going through. And they're saying and then you offer them some wise suggestions. Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Maybe you want to do this. And now you're helping that person to what? Grow, to be more productive, more successful. Then you transition to service orientation. That means just doing the best you can. Providing a service, doing the best you can. Leveraging others, establishing relationships. That's all it is. Helping other people to grow, they're going to help you to grow. You're going to use the relationship to help better yourself, to improve your emotions. And we talk about the last one, political awareness. Always be aware, young people, of the climate and the culture, and I'll put this in the classroom style. Always be aware of the climate and the culture of what's going on in your classroom. That's political awareness. Always be aware of the climate and the culture of what's happening on campus. Always be aware of the climate and the culture of the conversations you might be engaging other people. So you can be talking about something politically, and all of a sudden a person becomes what? Very passionate, right? Have you been in a conversation like that? They become very passionate about a certain political agenda or politician. And no matter what you say, they're going to defend that person. Say, wait a minute, let's not get too emotional here. We're just having what? Just a conversation. So always be aware of the political climate and the culture. It happens throughout this country and throughout the world. In the workforce, you must be always aware of the political climate and culture. As they say sometimes in the federal government, there's certain things you just don't talk about. And one is politics. Know another one? Yeah, say it again. Religion. because the political ramifications of what can happen in relationships when you bring up those two things. Sometimes it happens on college campuses. You bring up a certain topic in class that's politically correct or incorrect, and all of a sudden people start taking a position, and then it becomes emotional, then it becomes passionate, and now they're ready to engage in an argument. And it's like, wait a minute, we're just having a conversation here, because it becomes emotional. Be aware. So on the empathy, you might want to say, well, Darius, there might be some room for me to listen more, or listen better to my friends or my colleagues or my coworkers. You could do that. There might be some growth needed for me in offering suggestions or not taking everything so what? Personal, emotionally. There might be some room for that. You might want to ask yourself, why do I become so angry, so passionate with my emotions when I deal with certain topics and certain people? Can I offer a little bit more empathy towards some of my colleagues who are facing tough times or experience a tragedy? Or do I want to say, I'm glad it ain't happened to me, and keep on walking? You talk about relationship building, young people. We can go a long ways, even as a student, especially as a professional. And the next category is social skills. Now, this is a tough one. This is the last of social skills. How many of you are able to go to your classroom and not talk or interact with anybody in your classroom for a whole semester? You don't have to say one thing to them. You just go in there, you look at them and don't say anything. You have a class with other people. You go in there and just look at them, you don't even say anything. And they don't say anything to you. You have a class like that too? You don't say nothing. You don't even look at them. So, that's a special class, isn't it? Now y'all want to sign up for it. In fact, what happens is that they say at the time you have a thought about another person, that is the beginning of a what? Relationship. They say you don't even have to open your mouth. Just when you have a thought of another person, that ignites a what? Relationship. There's a connection. There's a connection with you and another person. So when you talk about social skills, what type of influence you have on other people emotionally? The influence you have on other people emotionally. When they see you coming, do they think you're going to act out and be disruptive and yell? Or do they know you're going to have a calm way of doing things? The influence we have on other people, we must always be aware. Some people call it your aura or something like that. But emotionally, we do have impact on what? Other people. You do. You can have the ability to help people to be happy, or what you do with them can help them become what? Sad. Joyful, frustrated, angry, mad, all these emotions. So you want to be in a position, whereby your emotions can have a positive and constructive influence on another person. That sometimes they look forward to interacting with you because you have what type of influence on them? Positive. Does this make sense to anyone? Because you never know when you will need the help of another person, both as a student and also as a professional. We always want to look at how we communicate. And one would say that there are two forms of communication when you talk about emotional intelligence. You have constructive communication, and then you have what? Destructive communication. And then you add one's intonation and one's emotions in how you communicate. You can build up a relationship based on how you express your emotions, or you can tear down a relationship based on how you express your what? Emotions. So you have to manage your emotions. How many of you think there's room to improve your conflict management skills? Anybody need to work on it just a tad? Do you know what you need to do to work on it? What you say? Okay, that was an interesting answer. He said if you have more conflict, you can work on it. Some people will endorse that one. That's an interesting response there. That's an interesting response. So he says if you have more, the more you have, the more you can work on it. Okay? If that was a test, that would be good. But it appears to me that when two people continue to engage in conflict, then sometimes it gets worse unless one person can do what? Manage it and peacefully what? Resolve it, because not many people want to lose a conflict. And the more you get involved in a conflict, one would say the more your emotions get stirred up. Because you don't want to lose. And therefore, we start using language and exhibit certain behaviors and use certain tones that are destructive. They say when it comes to your emotional intelligence, be aware of your emotions. Don't let your emotions elevate and escalate that would be more destructive. Be aware of the tension you feel in your gut, your diaphragm, when you're engaged in a conflict. They say, calm yourself down. Immediately begin to calm yourself down. Say, wait a minute, I'm getting too emotionally caught up in this. And I feel like I'm becoming self-destructive. And once one becomes self-destructive, then they end up doing something to hurt that relationship. Say, calm down. I have to be able to manage my conflict by managing who first? Myself. And the better I can manage my emotions, the better put me in a position to manage that interaction with another person. And it's definitely important, this skill of social skills is definitely important when it comes to leadership. It's like a major requirement of a leader. They have good social skills to be able to deal with the diversities of people who cross their path, to manage diversity, to understand diversity, to respect diversity, leadership, to be able to communicate in different styles of communication with different types of people, not being biased and not being prejudiced in communication and being a leader. How many of y'all are committed to being a great leader? I mean, seriously. How many of you don't care? Like, I don't want to be a leader. Just give me a job and pay me good money. That's reasonable too. But you still have to have these skills. Next one, please. Change catalysts, building bonds, collaboration, cooperation, and team capabilities. Team capability says you need to be a team player. How many of you are great team players? Don't have to be in control, but you're a good team player. You go by the ground rules. You go by the rules of engagement. You're flexible. You're collaborative. You're cooperative. Don't have to be the leader. Don't have to be the follower, because I'm a what? I'm a team player. And let me say this. Being a team player, most of the time, will always work to your advantage in the workforce. Being a team player will oftentimes work to your advantage in the classroom. Why? They can trust you. They believe in you. They know you're honest. They know you're inclusive. They know you're respectful. They know you're caring. They know you're committed. They know you're concerned. They know these things. They know that you're accountable. They know that you're responsible. Why? Because you're what? A team player. Not everybody is a good team player. But when you talk about these levels, you talk about these 5 levels or these 5 domains, it's important, next slide, that you understand these 5 domains. Next, please. The 5 domains consist of this. First one, know your what? Emotions. It's critically important to know your what? Emotions. I have come to learn that when I'm tired, I got to work on my emotions. I can easily snap because I'm what? Anybody like that? When you're tired, you can, like something can rub you the wrong way easily when you're tired. So I know that when I'm tired, I got to check my emotions. Next one, you got to manage your emotions. I know my emotions, now I'm going to manage my what? Own emotions. I'm not going to give someone else permission to manage my emotions. I'm responsible for my own emotions. But then the third one says, I got to motivate who? Myself. That's like if you give somebody else permission to motivate you and all of a sudden they go on vacation, you got to wait till they come back from vacation to motivate you again. No! Motivate yourself. Or if you can't wait till they come back, you got to text them. Give me a word to motivate me. If that doesn't work, now you got to email them. Or you got to do FaceTime with them. I need some motivation. Text me, call me, email me, do something. They say, no. I'm tired of motivating you. Motivate yourself. I thought you cared about me. No. Motivate yourself. You're old enough to motivate yourself. And then the fourth one says, recognize and understand another person's emotions. In relationships, in work relationships, in classroom relationships, either with the student or the professor or the instructor, be aware of that person's emotions. Know when they're on the edge. Know when they're happy. Know that. And respond respectfully and constructively. The last one says, manage your what? Relationships. Oftentimes in the workforce, you don't get this during orientation. You find out about these things accidentally once you get into the thick of it. If you want to be a great federal government employee or just a great employee, it's important that all of us be able to balance our own emotions. That's critically important. Next slide, please. So the secret of success is consistency to what? Purpose. Purpose. Having a purpose to graduate. Having a purpose to get on the D's list. Having a purpose to get a federal government job or a city government job or being an entrepreneur. You have a purpose. And what we're trying to do, what we're really trying to do is prepare you, give you some soft skills that will be of benefit to you for the remainder of your life. As I travel throughout this great world we live in, I utilize these soft skills all the time. It helps to establish relationships. Not only does it help to establish relationships, it helps to maintain relationships. Not only does it help to maintain relationships, it helps me to build relationships that can last a long time. Now, keep in mind, what we're talking about today has very little to do with race, age, sex, gender, height, weight, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity. Has nothing to do with that. This skill can apply to any person in the world, regardless of one's gender or sexual orientation. It doesn't matter. You'll be amazed when you try this, the results that you will experience, all for yourself. But you have to try it. You have to try it. You got to put it into practice. It's application. Questions? Comments? Someone raise a question. Anyone have a question? Anyone have an observation? No questions? Yes, sir. Oh. Now, one says that sympathy has to do with a level of compassion. Yeah. Sympathy has to do with the compassion you have for another person. Like one experience a tragedy or something. So you have a lot of compassion for that person. Empathy says you understand the makeup of another person. You understand the makeup. It's not that you have to do anything for that person. You have to give them a card or anything. That you understand the makeup of that person. Does this make sense? Like, I'll give you a good example. Here's what happened. So this person's working in the federal government in New Jersey, and she was an HR person, and an employee experienced a death. So the employee went to her, was sharing with her the death in her family. And so what happened to the HR person, the person who experienced the death started crying. HR person started crying. The person who experienced the death stopped crying. HR person still crying. So the person who experienced the death said, "Can I help you?" True story. He asked the person, HR person, "Can I help you?" So it's not. So the HR person was experiencing what? Empathy or sympathy? What do you think? Sympathy. Because the person became so compassionate, they started what? Crying too. So with empathy, I can understand the person, the emotional makeup. Now I got to see what I can be of what? Help to that person. Does this make sense? I'm just asking, does it make sense? Okay, I'm just, yeah. And so the woman said, can I help you? You crying more than I'm crying. Can I help you? Another question. Come on, about this whole emotional intelligence. So how many of you from now on, 3 words, from is your past, okay? Now is your present, on is your future. So how many of you are going to make an effort to strengthen, to enhance, to improve, to evaluate your emotions? Come on, if you're not starting when? When is it going to start? Soon, tomorrow, somebody said next week? When is it going to start? Huh? When? Now. Some people said now, some people said week. They need time to think about it. One person said hour. So there are 3 words. And so you need to write down these 3 words on your paper. From now on. Write down these 3 words. Can we get ready to close out on a very high note here? From is your past, right? That's your past. From is your past. Now is your present. You got some good information. I hope this was beneficial to each and every one of you. Now is your present. And on is your future. On is your future. So if we're going to improve our emotional intelligence, we got to start doing some things differently. When? Now, so to help us what? In the future. So say from now on. No, come on, come on. No, give me a look. Come on. Y'all want some empathy or some sympathy the way you sound? I mean, what you want to say? Say from now on. Give me a little bit more energy. I need everybody to say it. From now on. You have two colleagues, I'm looking, they haven't opened their mouth yet. I know they're going to do it. Say, from now on. One opened it just a tad, so she's getting better. Say, from now on. Next slide. Now, next thing. Say, I can. No, come on, say, I can. Say, I must. Say, I will. Okay, listen. Listen, I'm getting ready to close. We got about 45 seconds, and I'm out of here. 45 seconds. Can I have 45 seconds of your time? Seriously. Can I have 45 seconds of your energy? I'm going to show you how this thing, how many of y'all really want to be successful in life? I mean, don't be playing. Don't be playing. Raise your hand if you're serious. We have some people, they're still thinking about it. So if you really want to be successful, it will require a certain level of commitment, right? Right? Commitment. So I'm asking you, I want to give you just a small taste, just a small taste of what it's like to soar beyond your limitations. Because that's what it's going to take. It's not so much about right now, it's what do I need to do to get here versus being here. And so these words says, I can, I must, I will. There are a lot of people say, oh, I can do it, or I must do it, but they don't say, I will do it. And this requires your level of investment if you're serious about being successful. Say, I can. No, okay. That's pretty good. So we're going to try it again. Say, I can. Okay, good. Some of y'all have already had lunch, right? No. So that's what I'm feeling right now. Y'all haven't had lunch. You have a little bit of energy. Say, I can. Okay, take it up one more level for me. Say, I can. You're almost there. I'm serious. You're almost there. Just right here, okay? Just take me. I know you can do it. Don't be shy. Don't worry about it. Say, I can. Oh, you're there. I think you got it. Okay, here we go. I can. Oh. Now this side is participating, I think this side is observing. So we're going to pull it together. All I have is 30 seconds. I'm telling you. I can. We got 1.5 arms that was raised over here. I got 25 seconds. We got to do this. We really have to. Can you hit the slide one more time? And it says at the bottom what? Hit the slide. Hit the slide. Hit the slide. Soar. So we got to go with this. You ready? I can. Oh man, I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited. You guys, I can. I must. I will. I'm telling you. See, everybody who's observing, you missing something. You're missing it. You want to be successful, it's about active engagement, participation. Right, sir? Don't you agree? If you want to be successful, it's active participation, isn't it? He strongly agreed. Are you ready? This is the last time we're going to rock and roll. You ready? Are you ready? Is everybody ready? We're going to rock and roll on this one. I can. I must. I will. I will. Soar. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for coming. Thank you. I think, Michelle, did you want to share with them about the internship opportunities? You going to talk to them informally? Yes. Hang around, talk to her about those internship opportunities at Los Alamos, New Mexico. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Don't forget next month, communication skills that work. Thank you.